The Adidas Superstar is 51 years old. Last year they celebrated their 50th anniversary with a bunch of blockbuster shoes, and these guys could have fit right in along with them, but there's something super special going on with these guys today, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But first we'll take a flashback to right here. It's about 3 years ago. The Ultra Boost line was kind of flying, especially when the 4.0s came out. They lost their way a little bit after that, and then this Bape collaboration came along. 2 shoes, beautiful ones, both showing up behind me here, hopefully, and it was like Bape was at its top of its game. Adidas and Ultra Boost were at the top of their game, and it just felt like a great natural fit. People were wild for them, absolutely wild for them. But since then, things have tapered off. But you know what? A little resurgence here. Bape are on their way back up. Adidas have gotten into doing collaborations with them again, and they're coming out with an absolutely sweet silhouette, the Superstars, and then the Bape collaboration in there with that as well. And then on top of that, the big deal about this shoe is that Adidas, and I have never seen Adidas do this, never. Now I might be wrong in that, but I've never seen it. You might have, but I haven't. I've never seen Adidas give this much of their branding space to one of their collaborations. Usually when Adidas does a collaboration, you get 1 or 2 little hits in there from the collaboration, and the rest stays with that 3-stripe branding or the trefoil or anything along those lines. But today they've given over at least half, if not more, of the branding real estate on these Superstars to Bape. So with that being said, I'm going to take you through it, show you where all those special hits of branding come in, and also the construction of the shoe and what's special about it just as a silhouette of the Adidas Superstar. So with that being said, let's get into this and take a close-up look at the upcoming release of the Adidas Superstar, a bathing ape. This is a Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel does. Manichi upstairs no day, Manichi media design every single day from Tokyo, Japan. I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And in the spotlight today is the May 7th release of the Adidas Superstar in collaboration with A Bathing Ape, or Bape for short. And like I said at the top of this video, there seems to be a slight resurgence coming on. Now, in my opinion, it's always about my opinions. These are not facts. I do not work for Adidas. I don't work for Bape or anyone like that. But I feel like these hype beast brands like Bape, like Off-White, like Supreme, any of these guys, they feel like they either leveled off or even dropped down a bit. That kind of crazy, frenzied, gotta get my hands on those shoes. And the next best thing. It just feels like the last 18 months, it just has not been that way. Shoes that, 24, 36 months ago, 48 months ago, people would have been absolutely mental for, lining up outside stores and stuff like that. It just isn't happening. But it feels like a little bit of a turning of the tide right now. The Bape line and Adidas getting back together and doing an absolutely stonking version of the Superstar, like I said, in its 51st year. Last year marked its 50th anniversary year, and here we are a year later, still churning out the amazing silhouettes and the great collaborations. So what I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to go through this in 2 different ways. The first way is looking at all that branding and the way it's changed up on the shoes in extremely unique ways, and the fact that Adidas have given over a ton of real estate to Bape to do that, and then also the actual shoe itself, just looking at the design of it and what it looks like and what's important about it. So first things first, let's get into that branding, and I'll try and work this one out for you guys because it is complicated. Now, I recently did this. Doing, that's a Kyrie 7. I can't remember what it was called. It was Pale Ivory. And the big deal about that shoe, it was a half and half shoe with the left side done in a sort of black and white chrome, and then the right side done in a more colourful, playful colour scheme. Now, usually, when you've got half and half shoes, when you flip that over to the other shoe, if that was the left shoe I was talking about, you go to the right shoe, and on the right shoe, the same medial sides and lateral sides on those shoes. But what they did over there with the Kyrie 7s was that they had like the lateral side on the left shoe in black and white, and the medial side on the right shoe in black and white. And then the medial side on the left shoe in colours, and the lateral side of the right shoe in colours. So instead of being a mirror image of itself, it was kind of like a slightly opposite. And it's a bit like that with these guys, because there's some really interesting stuff going on where they've kept the Adidas on one shoe, but they've gone with the Bape design on the other shoe. So we're going to have a few interesting looks at that, because you have to have a look along some pretty narrow angles to see what I'm talking about. In the first place we'll do that is I'll take you to the standard tongue branding from the Bape Bape line at the top of the tongues there in gold and black. And you're thinking, yeah, there's nothing special about that except for the fact it's Bape branding with that bathing ape. The big head there is very synonymous with the Bape line and done in that sort of gold and black style. But then I got this particularly sharp angled shot right here of another tongue, the other tongue with the other shoe in this pack, and you can see that's done in the same gold and black branding but back to the standard Adidas style. And that's what's really cool about these shoes, is that not only have they given over a lot of their like I said, real estate to Bape and Bape branding, but they've done it in a way where they keep it on one shoe and then they go back to Adidas on the other shoe. And that's also very obvious in an easier way than that sharp angled look that I just gave you of the tongues on the heel. So we'll be able to look at the heels right here, and what you'll see is basically what you've got is a white branding panel with black branding on it. On the left shoe it's your standard Adidas trefoil, nothing special going on there, but then on the right shoe, to match the right shoe's tongue, you've got the Bape branding on there. So it's B-A-P-E, but the A is swapped out for a black star, and then underneath it you've got extra hits on there as well. So it's basically, I think it says Bape Star, actually, S-T-A, which is kind of interesting. So I take the Bape Star to be an actual silhouette. So it's kind of interesting they put that on the Superstar, which is a totally different shoe. But still, there you can see that whole like duality of the left foot Adidas branding and the right foot Bape branding. And the same goes for the three-stripe branding or the shooting star branding from Bape. So we'd probably have an easy shot to have a look at the Bape 3 shooting star branding on there along the side. Now I'll give you this sort of front-on look at it, but I think I have to go incognito. I have to go sort of deep and secretive to try and get a look at what it says underneath that piece of branding. And hopefully, again, from a sharp angle, I'm able to show you this here, that it actually says in gold leaf underneath that shooting star Bape branding. It says Bathing Ape along the side of these guys, and then when we flip it out to the other shoe, you can see it's Adidas branding in white, three-stripe branding on the side with that jagged edge there. So that whole like story of the right shoe being very Bape and the left shoe being very Adidas is sort of played out here. But then when we get a shot like this, you can see that the left shoe's medial side has Bape branding on the side of it. So it's not as simple as just saying right shoe Bape branding, left shoe Adidas branding. It's more complicated than just that, but basically that's what we're going for. And then the final place I think to look in terms of branding is to go onto the insole and have a look in there, and you can see a very solid white insole, but then that Bathing Ape and the ape head in there on the branding on the insole. And there's actually one more piece of special branding on these I totally forgot about, but just remembered right now, which is the Dubrays down at the bottom of the lacing system. And it's bling bling time with these Bape Dubrays down there to add a little bit extra to finish off what is an extremely powerful collaboration between a Bathing Ape and Adidas. But more than that, we've also got the hits on the shoe that's just down to construction, not actually down to branding. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the box first, because just for the uninitiated out there, maybe people don't know much about Bape and Bape camouflage design, but actually it's not just camouflage. Hopefully I've zoomed in somewhere on the box and you can see that embedded in that camouflage is an ape's head, and that's a little detail that runs through the upper of the shoe as much as it runs through the box on there as well. But then on top of that, you've also got that classic shell toe design, which has been consistent to the Superstar line at Adidas for the last 51 years. And you can see on these guys, it is your standard sort of rubber shell toe on there. But what's a little bit different is it's done in a sort of sail, a very delicate kind of hint of sail colorway, which is also matched up lower down on the midsole of these guys. I haven't been able to see the outsole, but I'm assuming that the outsole is very similar to the midsole and that shell toe on there to have the same kind of sail style branding. And that's pretty much a look at the whole shoe, both in terms of where those interesting branding hits are, but also in terms of its construction and its actual design. So last thing to do, I guess, is to go back to that drop date, which is supposed to be May the 7th. Now, it's a little bit early for me to do a video like this, but frankly, there just aren't that many shoes coming out right now. So I'm reaching a little further into the distance, 2 weeks in advance, to look at shoes that are upcoming, where I'd rather do it 10 days in advance or a week in advance. But, you know, beggars can't be beggars can't be choosers. But it does say May 7th, but that's still got a little sort of pencil question mark after it, because they're not quite sure if exactly that's going to come to pass, but I'm sure we'll know in the next few days. And with that being said, it's time for me to chip off. And speaking of days, I get to say the same thing at the end of every single video, which is that I do this every single day. And because of that, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.